Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive? This time, we're taking a closer look at Amish Tripathi's The Secret of the Nagas.
Ooh, this is a good one.
It is. It's the second book in his Shiva Trilogy.
Hmm?
You know, where Shiva is, well, not quite a god yet. More like a really, really impressive guy on his way to becoming one.
Yeah, it's like he's becoming godlike through his actions.
Exactly. And for this deep dive, we'll be looking at excerpts directly from the book, getting into the juicy plot twists, characters.
And all the philosophy Tripathi weaves in.
You ready to uncover some secrets?
Absolutely.
Okay, so to set the stage, The Secret of the Nagas picks up right where the Immortals of Meluha left off. Remember, Shiva was facing off against the Chandravanshi.
Shit conflict.
Well, that conflict is still simmering, but Shiva's focus shifts. He's now on a quest to understand evil.
But not just like evil in general. He wants to know the real nature of it.
And he thinks the key to that understanding lies with the Nagas. Now, quick reminder for anyone who needs it. The Nagas in this world,
They're basically serpent-like beings.
and most people see them as inherently evil. Like, no questions asked, they're bad news.
Right. But Shiva,
Shiva's not one to just accept what everyone says, right?
Helper, he's got to question it. Challenge those assumptions.
Even if it means going against his allies, the Suryavanshis.
That's what I love about Shiva. Always pushing back against authority.
And that tension between what Shiva believes and what everyone expects of him, that's where the story gets really good.
Yeah, it's not just about Shiva conquering enemies anymore. It's deeper than that.
It's about him searching for truth. A truth that goes way beyond what things look like on the surface.
Exactly. Makes you think, how often do we do that? Really question what we're told.
Good point. And Shiva's quest for truth takes him on a journey to some important places in Hinduism.
He goes down the Sarayu and Ganga rivers, ending up in Kashi.
Kashi, that's a holy city, right?
It is. And there's this scene where Shiva stops at Ramjanma Bhumi for a puja.
Okay, for those who don't know.
That place is considered the birthplace of Lord Ram. Huge significance in Hinduism.
So Tripathi isn't just throwing these locations in there randomly.
Not at all. He's grounding the story in a real spiritual landscape.
And in Kashi, things get really interesting. Shiva finds this connection between the Nagas and this group called the Brangas.
It all starts with a gold coin. One just like the one found near a murdered prince.
Ooh, murder mystery. And who are the Brangas exactly?
Well, they're shrouded in secrecy. A people ravaged by this terrible plague.
So we've got this coin linking the Nagas, who are supposedly evil, to these plague-stricken people.
It really makes you wonder, are the Nagas helping them? Or did they cause the plague?
Right. It challenges everything we thought we knew about them. Now, before we get too deep into that Branga connection, there's this awesome philosophical conversation between Shiva and a pandit.
Ah, yes. This one is key. It's all about societal structures, different ways of life.
The pandit talks about masculine and feminine ways of life, right?
Yeah, it's not about gender roles exactly, more like fundamental approaches to society.
So the pandit describes the masculine way as life by laws, all about order, structure, following the rules.
Like Meluha, where Shiva's from, they're all about duty and honor.
Right. And the feminine way is more life by probabilities, more fluid, adaptable, you know.
Like with the Chandravanshis, who Shiva fought against in the first book. They're more about freedom, passion, beauty.
It's not that one is better than the other, more like they balance each other out.
Exactly. They rise and fall in cycles throughout history.
He even mentions the Devas and Asuras from Hindu mythology.
The Devas, usually seen as the good guys, all about order. And the Asuras, often portrayed as chaotic rebels.
But of course, it's never that simple, is it? There's always nuance.
Always shades of gray. And what's brilliant is that it makes you think, where do I fall on that spectrum? Am I more about order or freedom?
That's a great question to ask ourselves, isn't it? Okay, back to the plot. Things get intense when Parvateshwar, Shiva's general, gets really sick.
Seriously ill, like on death's door.
But then he's saved by this mysterious medicine, given to him by Devotas, the Branga leader.
Big relief, right. But then,
Ayurvadi, Shiva's healer. She figures out the medicine comes from the Sanjivani tree.
a mythical tree, famous for its healing powers.
But here's the thing. That tree only grows in Naga territory.
And to make it even weirder, the medicine's been stabilized. Needs a special element that can only be found. You guessed it.
In Naga territory. So the Nagas are suddenly at the center of everything, but their motives are a total mystery.
Right. Are they benevolent healers? Or are they playing some kind of long game?
And Shiva, being Shiva, he's not going to just sit around and wonder. He needs answers. And he's going straight to devotas to get them.
But getting to Branga isn't easy. They're super secretive.
And remember, they've been devastated by this plague.
They made a deal with the devil, basically, trading people and gold for the medicine from the Nagas.
They're desperate. And desperate people do desperate things. As Shiva tries to cross the border into Branga, he runs into Uma.
A Branga major, fiercely loyal to her people.
And she's lost her only child to the plague. You can just feel the grief and anger radiating off of her.
It's a powerful scene. Shows how deeply the plague has affected the Brangas.
Shiva, being Shiva, he senses her pain. He actually comforts her, acknowledges her loss, and she starts to trust him.
It's a beautiful moment that shows Shiva's compassion, his ability to connect with people.
And through Uma, he learns the truth about the Branga king, Chandraketu.
The guy's basically a hostage, forced to trade with the Nagas to keep his people alive.
Talk about a tough position to be in. Just when you think things can't get any more twisted, Shiva learns something that totally changes his understanding of the Nagas.
It's a revelation that flips everything on its head. You won't believe this. Shiva's wife, Sati. She's a Naga.
What?
Yeah. Turns out she had a twin sister
A twin?
who was abandoned as a baby because she was a Naga. Can you imagine?
That's a huge secret to keep.
Yeah. And for Shiva, it changes everything. He's been fighting this evil force.
He's now directly related to.
It really forces him to reevaluate everything he thought he knew.
And Sati. How does she handle this?
At first, she's scared. I mean, who wouldn't be?
Right.
But then she becomes fiercely protective of the Nagas, especially after she meets her sister.
Her sister. So they actually find each other.
They do. Her sister's name is Kali. And get this.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Kali is the queen of the Nagas.
Wow. Talk about a family reunion.
It's intense. These two sisters, separated at birth, raised in totally different worlds.
But they have this instant connection.
Yeah, like nothing could break that bond. It makes you think about the power of family, you know?
Absolutely. And then there's Ganesh.
Saki's son, lord of the people of the Nagas.
He's an interesting character. Wise, but kind of ruthless too, right?
Yeah, definitely complex. And then there's this huge bombshell.
Hit me with it.
Ganesh is the one who killed Brahaspati.
Brahaspati. Shiva considered him a brother.
I know. It's a massive betrayal. Shiva's devastated.
So what does he do?
He banishes Ganesh and Kali.
Oh, wow. That must have gone over well with Seti.
Not at all. She chooses her children over her husband.
I can't say I blame her. That's a tough situation all around.
It is. And amidst all this chaos, Kali approaches Shiva.
What does she want?
She urges him to learn the secret of the Nagas.
The secret.
She says he needs to understand why they do what they do, to decide for himself if they're truly evil.
Interesting. So what is this secret?
That's the big question, isn't it? Tripathi drops some hints along the way, but the real truth is still hidden.
Ooh, the suspense.
I know. But remember that philosophical conversation we talked about earlier? Masculine and feminine ways of life.
Yeah, I liked that part.
Well, it comes up again
Yeah.
while they're traveling down the Madhumati River.
How so?
Well, Parvateshwar, Shiva's general, he's really struggling with these concepts, thanks to a conversation with Anandmai.
Anandmai. Dilipa's daughter. She's with them.
Yeah, she's traveling with them. And she's challenging Parvateshwar's whole worldview.
Sounds like a lively debate.
It is. She's questioning his strict interpretation of Lord Ram's laws, specifically the idea that no innocent person should be punished and no criminal should go free.
Okay. I can see how that could be problematic.
Right. And she basically tells him that by clinging to this rigid code, he's actually hurting an innocent person.
Herself.
Exactly. She reminds him that because of other people's past actions, her life has been shaped in a certain way.
I see. She's basically saying he's continuing a cycle of injustice.
Exactly. It's powerful stuff. Makes you think about how our own beliefs can sometimes blind us.
Big truth there.
Yeah. And speaking of complex situations, the journey takes a sudden turn.
Uh-oh. What happens?
They get attacked by bandits, led by Parshuram,
No way! Parshuram, the legendary warrior.
the one and only. And he's not messing around.
This is gonna be epic.
It is total chaos, casualties on both sides. And get this,
What?
Parshuram ends up saving Shiva's life.
Seriously, the guy who's attacking them saves the guy he's attacking.
Yep. It's a wild moment. Shows you that even the so-called villains can be capable of good.
And Shiva?
He's shocked. But he also sees something in Parshuram, A shared sense of honor, maybe.
I bet that changes their dynamic.
Oh, definitely. They're forced to cooperate, even though their worldviews are totally different.
I love it when characters surprise you like that.
Me too. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
What else happens?
Tripathi, that Meluhan warrior who's super loyal to Shiva.
Yeah, I like him.
He's killed in the battle.
Oh no, that's awful.
It is. Really highlights the cost of all this conflict.
I bet Shiva's taken that hard.
He is. But he also shows incredible compassion. He vows to take care of Pravaka, Tripathi's father.
That's Shiva for you. Always looking out for others. But this attack, it wasn't random, was it?
Definitely not. Someone planned it. Someone powerful.
Do they figure out who?
Shiva suspects someone's pulling the strings, someone connected to the Nagas, maybe. But we don't know for sure. Not yet, anyway.
Intriguing. And what about Parshuram? Is he still all about revenge?
He starts to open up, tells Shiva about his parents.
His parents.
Yeah, it turns out they defied social norms to be together. His dad was a Brahmin, his mom a Kshatriya.
I didn't know that.
And he clearly admires his mother, talks about her strength, her will. She was a woman who didn't let society dictate her choices.
Makes you see Parshuram in a whole new light, doesn't it?
It does. He's not just this angry warrior, there's depth there.
A story behind the rage.
Exactly. And his story gets even more complicated. He was framed for his mother's murder. And then he was punished by the Vasudevs, the people he dedicated his life to serving.
That's messed up.
It is.
Yeah.
It shattered his world, made him lose faith in everything. And that's what drove him to seek revenge.
I can see how that would lead someone down a dark path.
Yeah. But here's another twist.
Another one.
After he was banished, the Nagas saved his life. They gave him shelter, medicine, even weapons to fight the Brangas.
Okay, my head is spinning. So the Nagas saved the guy who was attacking them.
Makes you wonder what their game is, right?
Yeah, totally. Are they good? Evil? Something in between?
That's the question Shiva's wrestling with.
And Kali, is she still urging Shiva to learn their secret?
She is. She knows he's struggling. So she makes him an offer.
What's that?
She wants him to travel to Panchavati, the Naga capital.
To see for himself what they're really all about.
Exactly. It's a dangerous journey, but it's also a chance for Shiva to finally get some answers.
And that's where we leave off in The Secret of the Nagas.
With Shiva on the verge of uncovering the truth, but at what cost?
We'll have to wait for the final book to find out. This deep dive has been wild.
It really has. We've had political intrigue, epic battles, shocking twists, and mind-blowing philosophy.
And we've seen Shiva grow so much. He's always questioning, challenging himself, confronting his own biases.
It's what makes him such a compelling character.
And The Secret of the Nagas isn't just an action-packed adventure.
It makes you think about good and evil, about truth and perception, about how much we really know about the world and ourselves.
We hope this deep dive has given you a new appreciation for the complexity of this story.
And for the depth of Shiva's character. He's not just a hero, he's a seeker of truth, always pushing boundaries, challenging the status quo.
We're left with a big question. What will Shiva discover in Panchavati? And what choices will he have to make when he learns the Naga's secret?
We can't wait to find out. But that's a story for another time. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
So, Panchavati, the Naga capital, Shiva's finally going to get some answers. But it's not just a small group heading there anymore, is it?
Oh no, it's practically a traveling village at this point.
Seriously, we've got Sati, Kartik, Kali, Ganesh,
Virabhadra and Nandi, along with their wives.
Ayurvadi, Bhagirath,
Parvateshwar, Anandmai. Even Parshuram is tagging along.
Parshuram. That's got to be awkward. I mean, former enemies traveling together.
It is, but it's also pretty amazing. You see the Suryavanshis and Parshuram's men, they're actually cooperating now.
All thanks to Shiva. He's really got a knack for bringing people together.
He does. And as they journey deeper into the Dandak forests, they have this really insightful conversation about, well, good and evil.
Ooh, getting philosophical.
They are. Shiva actually brings up that whole good and evil are two sides of the same coin thing.
And what do they think about that?
Well, Ganesh, who's been pretty quiet up until this point, he jumps in, says it's not about seeing good and evil as separate, but understanding they're always in balance.
Like they influence each other, shape each other.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a very Naga perspective, you know, karma, interconnectedness, all that.
Makes Shiva rethink his whole black and white view of the Nagas.
He realizes it might be more complicated than that.
And this journey, it's not all serious conversations and near-death experiences,
Right?
right?
Definitely not.
Yes.
Shiva, he's got this great sense of humor, uses it to lighten the mood, ease the tension.
Good to have a little laughter when things are intense, right?
For sure. There's even a scene where he's cheesing Nandi. Playfully, of course.
Oh, that's cute.
It is. And Kali, she observes that Shiva has this gift for bringing peace to people.
He does seem to have a calming presence.
Yeah. But even with these peaceful moments, danger's never too far away.
Oh no, what happens now?
They're sailing down the Godavari River, thinking it's the Narmada.
Uh-oh, wrong river.
And they get ambushed. Ships with serious weapons. It's brutal.
I bet she was furious.
He is. Feels betrayed. And so many lives are lost, including some of the Nagas who were escorting them.
It's terrible.
Yeah. And it's clear that this attack was planned. Someone knew their route, knew how to hit them hard.
So they've got a bigger enemy out there, somewhere.
Looks like it, and you won't believe who helps them fight off the attackers.
Come on, who is it?
Parshuram.
No way! He's helping them.
He is. Uses his knowledge of the Dandak forests to lead them to safety.
Wow, talk about a change of heart.
It makes you realize that sometimes even the most unlikely allies can come through for you.
So they're safe, but they're still no closer to figuring out who's behind all this.
Nope. And as they recover from the attack, Shiva's left with more questions than answers.
This is getting complicated.
It is. But that's what makes his story so good, right? We're on the edge of our seats, wanting to know what happens next. And that brings us to the end of The Secret of the Nagas.
Wow, what a ride. We've gone through political intrigue, epic battles, family drama, even some philosophy thrown in for good measure.
And through it all, Shiva's been evolving, challenging his own beliefs, learning to see the world in new ways.
The Secret of the Nagas really makes you think about what you believe, doesn't it? About good and evil, truth and perception. It's not always as simple as it seems.
And that's what makes this story so powerful. It leaves you with questions, makes you want to keep exploring, keep learning. We may not know all the answers yet, but we hope this deep dive has helped you understand Shiva's journey a little better. His search for truth, his compassion for others, his willingness to challenge everything he thought he knew. It's what makes him such a compelling character, and is what keeps us coming back to these stories.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into The Secret of the Nagas. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a fascinating topic. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep seeking the truth wherever it may lead you.